Prior to Dancing with the Stars and Miss Manners, there was Mrs. Burke's Cotillion of Louisville. After the Great Depression, Mrs. Burke had been a ballet dancer and instructor in New York City before coming home to teach ballroom dancing in the 40s. For 4 decades, she annually enrolled an equal number of boys and girls in Cotillion. Her former assistants continue the tradition today. Unlike the legend, I was not put on the waiting list at birth, but I went to Cotillion from 5th through 8th grade at the Louisville Country Club. Over 100 of us would gather every other fall Friday. Chairs were lined up along the wall on each side of the ballroom's polished wood floor. The girls sat on the left with both feet on the floor and their white-gloved hands in their laps. I took a seat on the right in my sport coat and tie. Suits were not required due to the financial strain of growth spurts. We learned a lot about manners, along with the waltz, the foxtrot, and the jitterbug. More than manners, she taught me about treating others like I'd want to be treated, with more practical examples than my church's golden rule. In the midst of my body's and society's changes from 68 to 71, I was placed in a bubble of consistency for a few months a year. My most comforting consistency was Ruth. Dancing began when the boys were all told to walk across the room to ask a girl to dance. While I dreaded the risk of taking the initiative, I was relieved I wasn't the girl who was asked last. After a few sessions, I asked Ruth to dance. We became dance partners for 4 fall seasons, except for the one time a guy made the mistake of beating me across the floor to ask her. Our familiarity enabled us to dance really well together. Our pact assured us of a partner we liked. Her flowing red hair enabled me to easily find a seat directly across before my run for the roses. By the 3rd fall, her newfound height made the twirls challenging, but we carried on. I never saw Ruth outside of Cotillion, but I thought of her in college the night a tiny dancer and I took second at our bar's disco contest. How were you initiated into treating others with decency and respect? In choosing a partner for the dance, do you appreciate consistency or seek variety? Who teaches you to treat others like you want to be treated? How do you put those lessons into practice?